Hey guys, Cronus Falls here, and today I am bringing you everything you need to know about the new fusion champion, Gurptuk Mossbeard. That is a hard name to say, but he is the new champion that just came out. He is fusible, and what is very nice about this is all four of these are epics that you could potentially already have. So let's go ahead and dive into his kit real quick, then we will go over the fusion. So he is in the Ogren tribes. He is a Force Affinity legendary right here, and he is a support champion. So on his A1, attacks one enemy 2 times, places a 15% continuous heal buff for 1 turn on all allies under poison debuffs. So this doesn't sound great at face value, but it actually goes very well with his kit, and we will see that later on. But on his A2 here, Druidic Boon removes all debuffs from an ally, then heals them by 30% of their max HP, and places a shield buff on the target equal to 20% of their max HP for 2 turns. So this is a bit of a heal. It's on a 2-turn cooldown, it looks like, and when booked could potentially be, let's see, 15% heal and 15% shield. So it'd be 45% of their max HP and 35% shield. Now that's not quite as good as it could be if this was based on his max HP, because he is a support champion. That would be a very good move, but a cleanse on a 2-turn cooldown is pretty solid. Now let's go ahead and look at his A3 here. So this is what the A1 goes well with. Places 3 5% poison debuffs on all allies for 3 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted or blocked. Also has an 80% chance of placing a blocked buffs debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. So basically what I see the use for in this would be something like either a speed clear dungeon strategy or potentially arena. And so the reason I say that is because of his passive here, which is allies under poison debuffs inflict 7.5% more damage for each poison debuff on them, stacking up to a maximum of 30%. This damage increase applies to all of their skills. Also increases each ally's resistance by 15 for each poison debuff on them. So basically he comes on, he puts 3 poisons on everyone. I don't know why they went for 5% instead of 2.5%, because it seems like the passive would still work regardless. But basically it's going to allow your champions just with those 3 to do, what would that be, 22.5% more damage, which is a huge boost. If you pair that with someone like a Bad L, who would get you, I think, like a 19% boost or 15%, whatever his passive is. And those are some pretty big numbers we're talking about. And so obviously that pairs with his A1, which will give you 15% continuous heal buff for 1 turn on all allies under poison. But the thing about that is, you come in, you do your poisons. That's going to be 15% damage you're going to take from the poisons. Then it's not until the next turn you come in with your continuous heal, and then you get a 15% heal, but you're also going to take 15% damage. So really the healing doesn't keep up with the damage from the poison, which is unfortunate, especially since he probably won't use that next. He'll come in with his A2 here, I would imagine, and that would cause him to cleanse somebody, therefore they would not take deal the extra damage, and the rest of your team would not get the heals, assuming that that's how the AI works. So honestly, I just don't think this champion is going to be really good. He may, like I said, come into play in some sort of dungeon clearing strategies, and he could be decent for arena, in that you could have your nuker just do a ton of damage, assuming you go first. He also does have a 2-turn cleanse. Cleanse is pretty good for arena, and he does increase resistance. Also, his aura increase ally resist in all battles by 50. So if you're doing a really high resistance sustain team, then yeah, I could definitely see him being a part of it. Or if you just want your nuker to go absolutely insane, like imagine a Rotos doing 22.5% extra damage. It's just wild. So, I mean, yeah, he could have his uses. I'm definitely going to get him. And that is definitely the case because, like I said, his fusion seems pretty darn easy. So these are 4 epics that have been in the game for a long time. Fang Cleric is the most recent, a couple months ago. And then Umbral Enchantress, I believe, came around during the Rotos fusion, if I'm not mistaken. Either that or maybe even one before that. It might have been Harvest Jack, actually. Yeah, I think it was Harvest Jack for Umbral. And then these two have been in the game for quite a while. The, what's his name? Catacomb Counselor and Seneschal. So, basically, you can go ahead. All of these rares have been in the game for quite a while, too. Obviously, Frozen Banshee's the standout. She is a very in-game viable champion. So, if you can't go for this fusion, you just don't think you'll be able to do it, but you don't have a Frozen Banshee, I definitely suggest picking her up. Bulwark is also pretty decent, and Solvon Boyer here is also pretty decent. Also, for very new players, Heiruspecs down here is very good in the arena. He does bring you a speed aura, and he can also give you turn meter boost, all that kind of good stuff. Now, this is not my main account. This is my alternate account, so I don't have all of these champions. But on my main, I do have Umbral. I do have Catacomb Counselor. I do not have these two, but I do have all the rares for them. So it's going to go pretty quickly as far as getting this done. So I will definitely be able to get out a review on him. I'll go ahead and level him up to 60 as quickly as I can. I am a little low on potions at the moment, so it's probably still going to be like a week or so before I can actually get that out there. But we will just kind of see if he is any good. So let's take a look at the event calendar here. So we go to the news, check this out. Alright, so first of all, Fang Cleric, he is going to be available from the Champion Training event that started today. So you can just flat out get him as long as you get high enough points. Hatchet Slinger, one of the... So the 4 that you can fuse to get Fang Cleric. Hatchet Slinger will be in the Champion Training Tournament right now as well. Cudgeler is in the Dragon Tournament that started today. Twinclaw Disciple will be part of an Artifact Enhancement event, which starts on May 16th, so that's very good. We haven't had one of these in quite a while. My silver stocks have gotten quite high, so looking forward to that. Heiruspecs here, he's going to be available from Dungeon Divers event that starts tomorrow, so look out for that. And then Seneschal, so he's the next epic involved, is going to be available from that Dungeon Divers event as well with Heiruspecs, so I imagine he'll just be more points. And then Corpulent Cadaver will be available from the training tournament, or training event that started today. Frozen Banshee will be from a Spider tournament, so that's interesting. Spider is one of the most difficult dungeons, and therefore it's going to be harder for lower level players to get Frozen Banshee. So that's kind of an unfortunate move because she is so good. And I wish she was available from something like Champion Training or Dungeon Divers, something like that, something a little easier. And then Beast Wrestler will be available from Artifact Enhancement event that starts on the 16th. Painsmith from a Summon Rush that starts tomorrow, so that's going to be the ×10 Dark Elves. Ooh, that's kind of rough because if you don't have them, obviously you need them to get the fusion done, but I wouldn't suggest pulling shards for the ×10 Dark Elves. None of the good ones are on the table anyways. As far as the ×10 chances go, you don't have ×10 for Madame Ceres or Lanicus or Vizier, any of that. I think it's like Blind Seer, Queen Ava, Ghostborn, and Sylar are like the standouts there, which none of those are going to be super game-changing for an account. Then let's go ahead and go on to the next epic, Umbral Enchantress. She'll be available from that Summon Rush event as well. And then she can be fused from Ghoulish Ranger, which is really common as a fusion champion, surprisingly. He seems to always be in there for some reason, as well as Perforator and Bulwark. Those 3 seem to always be in. I don't know why, but they just like him, I guess. So he'll be from the Champion Training Tournament that started today. Bombardier will be from a Fire Knight tournament on the 21st, so he is a ways out still. Perforator will be available from Arena Onslaught tournament, so I think that's probably the new tournament that they were talking about. Because we haven't had an arena tournament in quite some time, so they probably reworked it, and this is going to be it. So that's going to start on the 15th. And then Bulwark, again, another very good rare champion. If you can't go for the fusion, but you don't have a Bulwark, I'd suggest getting him. He'll be available from Dungeon Divers that starts tomorrow, so that should be a pretty easy one. Dungeon Divers are typically the easiest to complete besides, like, you know, an arena event. And then finally we have Catacomb Counselor here. He is the only epic that cannot be gotten straight up from any sort of event or tournament. You have to fuse him if you don't already have him. And so he is going to be from Soulbond Boyer. Again, very good rare if you don't have her. And she will be available from the training event that started today. Myrmidon and Fencer both were part of a recent fusion as well. I feel like Myrmidon might have been part of like the last 3 fusions or so, including this one. So they like using him as well. But he'll be available from the Ice Golem tournament that starts on the 18th, so he's a way out as well. Fencer will be available from the Artifact Enhancement Event 2. So there's going to be 2 Artifact Enhancement events. Don't waste all your silver on the first one if you can help it. That one's going to start on May 22nd. So look out for that to get Fencer. And Ragemonger will be available from the Dungeon Divers event, May 13th through May 22nd. So that's all of them, guys. That's how you're going to be able to get them. One thing that I'm noticing, there is no sort of champion chase tournament, which means I'm guessing there's not going to be any ×2 summons that are going to go on during this fusion, which is a shame. I am really excited for 2x Voids whenever those come back, so hopefully we get those together soon. But let me know in the comments down below if you're excited to get Gurptuk. Like I said, he's pretty decent. He could be used definitely in lower level accounts as a support. And for higher level, I think he's going to mostly be used for speedrun strategies as well as the arena. Potentially, we'll have to see how well he works there. I'm definitely going to get him, level him up, and see how he works, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below or join the Discord if you have anything you'd like to talk about. I'm always happy to give you guys advice, and thanks for watching.